Hello folks, this is episode 6 of Square's Realm. I want to start off today talking about video games, just basically. Growing up in the 80s and 90s, it wouldn't have been the 80s and 90s without fucking video games around. For me it was something that added greatly to growing up, and it was a bit of an escapism for me. I remember I used to fucking collect them. Go around people's houses, knock at their fucking doors and ask them for old video games. I was retro before fucking retro was even retro. I used to go round, knock at fucking neighbours' doors and say, have you any old video games? And they'd be all like, I'm on, we've got a few on here, you've got our Atari games, we want them there. Sweet, do we have any Spectrum games? Everybody else was playing Super Nintendos and fucking Mega Drives. I was running around knocking for fucking ZX Spectrums, ColecoVisions, Ataris, and televisions, looking for shit like that. So I was big on the video games back in the day. It started off with a guy and fucking in school. He befriended a friend of mine's with a computer magazine, and I was, oh, who the fuck's this cunt here? You're fucking getting on with my fucking best friend Paul. And I thought, right, I have to know about video games. And I remember specifically getting on them for that reason. It was just to make this fucking other boy fucking like me better than this other mate. And I got into them flat out then. And collecting them was fucking brilliant, hey. Collecting them from fucking getting all fucking games and stuff, and like the old ZX Spectrum that ran on a fucking cassette player, like literally you had to load that up when you were playing video games. You had to load that up before you were going to school in the morning. Back all these noises. And you had to load it up, and then by the time you got home and had your tea, your game would have been finished loading, and you would have been able to press play and play it after you had your school dance. So retro gaming, they were the days. My first console was a fucking Atari 2600. I remember going down the stairs Christmas morning. I was supposed to get a ordinary Nintendo, but we couldn't afford them in our house. We were still behind the times. And I went down and I got the fucking Atari fucking 2600. And I was like, oh what? And it had Pac-Man in it. And I was like, fucking Pac-Man, can't believe it. It was unbelievable. My ma even picked it up and she was playing it like fuck. I used to have to fight with my ma to get a go of it because she was flat out on it. Funny enough too, telling you a story about getting Atari 2600 for the first time. After that I went down a notch to a ZX Spectrum, which was supposed to be the ordinary Nintendo was getting a game, but they got me the ZX Spectrum, which was sort of like a fucking downfall from the 2600. So I went back a ways again. I went back a ways in the future twice when I should have been getting an ordinary Nintendo. So it was a big disappointment for me. So we lad always wanted that ordinary Nintendo, and then finally I got one. And I came in my fucking pyjamas. It was beautiful. But I just talking about video games. And collecting them. These are remember Games Zone as well. Games Zone, going up there, fucking Shippey Street. And trading on your games. You'd have they used to do it for bringing $2.50, and you could swap a game. And they'd have Cadillacs and dinosaurs in the arcade machine. And you go up and look at all the PC games and all, and be like, fucking imagine having £1,000 on a PC. Technology at that time was just taking off, and video games were like the fucking thing. They were keeping an eye on how technology was prevailing, and expanding. So I used to just go up to Game Zone and sit for fucking hours looking at the backs of video game boxes. One time I went up there, fucking, they wouldn't change my game, and I tortured him for the fucking whole day. Hey, I mean, I done that man's head on, and he cracked up and goes, "Get the fuck out of me, fucking primitive, you bastard! I'm telling you, the fucking game fucking works! I'm telling you, I fucking..." He's cracked up at much. He looked like he was going to have a fucking heart attack. Shook me up. Same cunt brought me one 2 weeks later when I wanted to buy games off my game, but that's called making money, kids. Making money. And another wee store was called City Software. That was I was around the Craft Village. That happened just before Game Zone. When Game Zone started, actually, it started up at the top of the Diamond. That's when it first opened. It was up around there at the top of the Diamond. And you used to go on, it was like a big fucking, when he first started the business, it had a proper fucking venue, but they downsized it a bit and moved it then to fucking Waterloo Street or Shipley Street or whatever you call it. And but one time I was on there and he had a wee nephew on. It was his wee nephew or something was on with him and the fucking and Game Zone up in the Diamond. And I went on one day, I was just under the rain having a wee look around like I always did, no mean, wandering the fucking streets, snotters flying blind me. And the wee man says, "Hey, you want to play a game?" I said, "What game can I play?" He said, "Well, any game you want." I was like, fucking hell, any game I want? What do you mean? He goes, see, my uncle fucking owns in here. I'm already playing a game I want. Me and him were ripping the plastic off any games, trying them all out. That day was one of the best days of my life as a kid. The day I could play any game I wanted. It was like hanging out in Michael Jackson's house. But it was brilliant too. He was whacking on Aladdin. "Can I put on Aladdin from the Mega Drive?" Going ahead. Ripping all the packs off the games. Cracker. But as I was saying there was another place too called City Software. City Software was just in the Craft Village, and there was these free geeks owned that there. They must have been wee small time businessmen just starting off. But I used to go on there and scan the games as well. And the boy on there was fucking sound one time because my dad hunted the town to get me Lemons 2 for the Super Nintendo. And he brought it down to me and I didn't like playing it. I thought it was shit. It was hyped up in the magazines. I thought it was going to be far better. And I took it up to your man, but your man gave me like fucking loads of games well worth the value of the fucking cartridge. It was the rip-off, it wasn't about that boy. But what I always remember is them free fucking head-of-grittins. They'd be up sitting playing fucking the micro machines on the NES day in, day out. And I go up and always remember the boy with the ponytail and the glasses. He used to play the NES micro machines on the NES upside down with a joystick, because apparently the steers were reversed and he liked to play it upside down because it narrowed it out. So it was always a wee novelty memory. And they also had a fucking a bugged Street Fighter 2 machine. And that meant that when you done fucking Hadoukens and stuff like that, Hadouken, it would give you out like double fireballs and all, and they'd fly all around the screen. It was like a hacked version of a fucking N64 or fucking Street Fighter 2 machine. It was some job. But I talked about the video games in the early days growing up, technology. Some crack, nostalgia from them days. Street Fighter 2 was played out, Super Mario World, all the generics, you know what I mean? And them days you grab what was popular. But then the Powerhouse as well was another fucking spot we used to head about to. And that was like a youth and technology centre made for youth. I don't know if I talked about it before on one of the episodes, but it was like just a fucking, it got lottery funded, and it was just like a hangout somewhere we could all go on and chill out, fucking play video games, shoot films, play decks, do photo editing, fucking PlayStation, Sky TV, murals all around the youth centre that we all designed ourselves. It was like a dead hands-on, youth orientated youth centre, and from that sprang loads of talented fellas. Like a couple of boys I know started their DJing on there. They went on to become DJs. Other couple of boys I know were doing graphic design and filmmaking, film editing. They went on to do other things. It introduced me to film editing and photo editing software. A boy now's a friend of mine, he's fucking works in the Nair Centre now. All his sort of Photoshop skills started with a Powerhouse back in the day. So it's like, invest in the youth, because we weren't getting educated fuck all at school. But with that Youth and Technology Centre started our fucking pathways just on loads of different wee directions. And it just shows you too that education is failing people when that can happen. And a youth centre can send so many down direction where schools should have been introduced into them fucking prevailing technologies and angles they come at things, like that there. But that are just a lot of people, that are just really film editing. You would go down there, get hands on, like at Fitways. Some of the staff were sound as a bell too. A boy called Harvey, Stevie Quigley, Georgina, lovely girls worked on there as well. It was good, it was a great time. Mind you, there was some fucking illicit fucking stuff went round in the fucking email accounts, which probably shouldn't have been seeing that. Back in the old horse of the internet, where also all your porn and all would be shared through email accounts, and everybody a cunt on there had an email account. You'd see all sorts of fucking shit, like porn passed down, like dudes humping chickens and what have you. So it was positive in many other ways, probably wasn't too positive in that side of things. Fuck's sake. But that was the Powerhouse, hey. Powerhouse was Bernard, hey. They organised raves and all for us too, talking about DJ Tizer and Say and Bumman and all. They actually organised a rave for us all one time. We organised ourselves, and they got DJ Tizer, they play for us. So it was like something fucking cool. But I was out bog just talking about the Powerhouse was kind of like an offshoot from the Nair Centre. It was like almost like a wee baby sister to the Nair Centre. Same type of angles, only it was a wee hub for the bog side and the Brandywell. But nostalgic then times, how you wish you could go back, or you wish the Waynes had access to things like that, which they do in a way now, but then it was so fresh and different. But art just, doesn't it? Know where do you go where? What do you do? What's it all about? Like, I'm at 13 minutes here, so we're doing alright, I suppose. This is a wee chilled out one, because I didn't really know where to go with myself with this podcast today. I'm feeling a bit tired, and to be honest, I'm a bit depressed. I'm a bit down and out. I'm not doing my best. Could be fucking doing a lot more things, but instead I'm fucking falling behind. I'm getting lazy and lackadaisical. But I wanted to talk tonight about Martin Anthony Conley. Now, he also hung about down the Powerhouse, and it was around that time Martin Anthony Conley died. He was an old friend of ours called Mac. We called him Mac. And tragically, I wanted to tell you a story about snuffing. Now, snuffing is no fucking fun at all, hey. See, to be honest, out of all the drugs that you could take, its danger levels are far too high, and it doesn't do fuck all for you. It just fucking gives you a sore head, really. But because we were young fellas, and there was no other drugs about, there was actually no other alternative to get substances with. Drink would have been harder to achieve than a fucking bottle of petrol. We all got onto that there as young fellas. It was the first drug I was introduced to. One of the times I remember snuffing it is like taking a big snuff of it. and he feeling my heart go. And as I approached my fucking door to go into the house, my ma opened the door, it just went. And I literally shooed the door. I literally thought I had a heart attack on the spot. It scared the fuck out of me. I've had many strange visual hallucinations on it as well, where it's almost like you're having many strokes and you see all repeated fucking patterns on like grass and stuff like that there, you know. But no good that stuff. And a friend of ours died in 1997, Mac, and he was hilarious. And funnily enough, talking about the Powerhouse there was footage of him knocking about somewhere. I'd love to see that to this day. I'd love to see him fucking talking. It was like hilarious footage. When we were down the Powerhouse, we used to go down there day in, day out, and we'd watch him talking in that footage over and over again, because the way he went on was fucking hilarious. He had some sense of humour for the young fella he was. He was only about the guts of 15 or 16 when he died. But it left a few of my friends fucking fried up with post-traumatic stress disorder that they're only actually solving it the last few years. I was just talking to one of them the other night about stuff like that. But it's mad how that there came through and affected the whole community back in the 90s. Like everybody fucking school was grieving him. Everybody that knew him. It really messed up a lot of the young fellas I knew heads up. It was sort of like their first taste of death, and it was heartbreaking, to be honest. At the time, I remember the night I heard. My aunt Diane came on the phone and she said to me, "Paul, did you know that wee boy Martin Connolly, didn't he?" And I went, why? She goes, "Oh fuck, he's dead. He died snuffing up in fucking Cragen." And I was like, fuck me, eh? And one of my friends, Connor, was very close to it, but he took it particularly bad. But I'm sure that Shawnee too, they were very close to him. But it fucking shook our foundations. And you know, it's just stuff you're buying in a fucking shop. Go and snuff it. And I actually remember, as much as I said about Brian Tierney there, the mayor, being a fucking imbecile, when we all did start snuffing it that night, when we all did start snuffing years ago, I remember after we experimented with that shit, the next day I was all gone holy take it again, but I specifically remember Mayor Tierney, I'm calling him Mayor Tierney, feel like Carpathian. No, but I specifically remember him being wise and saying, "No, I don't want to do that again, that's not right, we could die." So you give him credit there, like, he was a bit more wiser than we were, because I got fucking into that snuffing. And even when Mac died, I would still get sneaky snuffs, and a friend of Max Dobbins came up one day, got me snuffing in a wee back alley with like fucking bushes and all, and was sitting in there snuffing a big fucking tanker of petrol. And he came on and said, boom, hit me a big fucking boot in the head. And I was all ding 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 ding. He's all, "What the fuck you at? Don't you fucking know what happened to him and all that there?" And it was really, really serious at the time. I was like, fuck. So ever since that day, I never touched it again since. But I just wanted to touch on that. Solvent abuse is fucking fucked up. You'd be safe for taking E's and acid and smoking weed than you'd ever be taking a fucking solvent to your throat. In fact, funnily enough, a couple of years ago I was in a flat and a boy came walking in, snuffing. He was about 33 years of age, and he had an aerosol in his hand and he was snuffing. He was snuffing it like it's a bag of weed. So it still happens, people still do it. But I wouldn't recommend any cunt fucking gets on it, because it's an absolute waste of your fucking time. And it killed that young fella, Martin, and he had a whole fucking life ahead of him. It shouldn't have happened. and it fucking irreversibly changed a lot of life's direction at that time as well. Or not to mention it was a blunted dairy. So I just want to be straight on that there. Don't ever get into fucking solvents, because that's not something that's going to give you a downer or something. That's something that'll kill you stone dead. So I get that out of the way. But I suppose I want to talk to you about the idea that things we value don't necessarily need to have monetary value. You know, everybody's always saying to me, but what you making doing that there? And I say, well, you know, don't make much, but I'm on benefits, and it gives me a sense of purpose in life, and it's like, it gets the community going in ways some people are interested, give me loads of feedback, you know. You can do many things in life that give great rewards that don't necessarily have to have money involved in it. Even for me, trying to get a short film made, it amazes me how quick people are to help when there's money involved, but when it's just a good idea that can like inspire a lot of people or get a buzz going and make a lot of people laugh, nobody wants to do it. But it's like, at the end of the day, when the job's done, that's what they'll all be buzzing about. They won't be giving a fuck about their wage it went for, in a career or whatever. No, I mean, it's just that it annoys me the way people always attach fucking value to money always. It just really annoys me, because me, I just look at the outcome, the positivity it could bring, the potential people, or joy, like fucking, you know, there's many things have value that don't have a price tag on them, like. But I don't know where I'm going with that, but fuck it, forget about it. But anyway, look, I'm going to read this here out these here. It's a wee article by a guy called Sherwood, and it's I think it was the girl that wrote it was called Maria Popova, and it's just a wee article about art and trying to find your place on it. But I'll just read it out to you the whole entirety here, and they end it on a wee high note. Sherwood Anderson on art and life, a letter of advice to his teenage son. The object of art is not to make saleable pictures, it is to save yourself, by Maria Popova. The quest to find one's purpose and live the creative life boldly is neither simple nor easy, especially for a young person trying to make sense of the world and his place in it. In the spring of 1926, Sherwood Anderson sent his 17-year-old son John a beautiful addition to history's greatest letters of fatherly advice, found in posterity, letters of great Americans to their children, public library. The missive offers insight on everything from knowing whose advice not to take, to the false allure of money, to the joy of making things with your hands. See, that's what I'm talking about here. It's the false allure of money. That's why I brought this here into the fucking podcast. This boy talks about the real fucking essence of art and the real essence of creating and business and things like that. He's giving his wee boy, his son advice and a letter. But the massive offers insight on everything from knowing whose advice not to take, to the false allure of money, and to the joy of making things with your hands. So listen to this here. The best thing, I dare say, is first to learn something well so you can always make a living. Bob seems to be catching on at the newspaper business and has had another raise. He is getting a good training by working in a smaller city. As for the scientific fields, any of them require long schooling and intense application. If you're made for it, nothing could be better. In the long run, you will have to come to your own conclusion. The arts, which probably offer a man more satisfaction, are uncertain. It is difficult to make a living. If I had my own life to lead over, I presume I would still be a writer, but I am sure I would give my first attention to learning how to do things directly with my hands. Nothing gives quite the satisfaction that doing things brings. Above all, avoid taking the advice of men who have no brains and do not know what they are talking about. Most small businessmen say simply, look at me. They fancy that if they have accumulated a little money and have got a position in a small circle, they are competent to give advice to anyone. Next to occupation is the building up of good taste. That is difficult. Slow work, few achieve it. It means all the difference in the world in the end. I am constantly amazed at how little painters know about painting, writers about writing, merchants about business, manufacturers about manufacturing. Most men just drift. There is a kind of shrewdness many men have that enables them to get money. It is the shrewdness of the fox after the chicken. A low order of mentality often goes with it. Above all, I would like you to see many kinds of men at first hand. That would help you more than anything. Just how it is to be accomplished I do not know. Perhaps a way may be found. Anyway, I'll see you this summer. We begin to pack for the country this week. With love, Dad. Could be interesting letter there, we hear. The following year, after Anderson and his wife took 18-year-old John and his sister Marilyn to Europe, the boy remained in Paris to study painting. Drawing on his own artistic experience and the parallels between writing and painting, Sherwood sent John another poignant letter of advice in April of 1927, adding to history's finest definitions of art and stressing the importance of discipline and cultivating talent. In relation to painting, don't be carried off your feet by anything else because it is modern, the latest thing. Go to the Louvre often and spend a good deal of time before the Rembrandts, the Delacroix. Learn to draw. Try to make your hands so unconsciously adept that it will put down what you feel without your having to think about with your hands. Then you can think of the thing before you. Draw things that have some meaning to you. An apple, what does it mean? The object drawn doesn't matter so much. It's what you feel about it, what it means to you. A masterpiece could be made of a dish of turnips. Draw, hundreds of drawings. Try to remain humble. Smartness kills everything. The object of art is not to make saleable pictures, it is to save yourself. Any cleanness I have in my own life is due to my feeling for words. The fools who write articles about me think that one morning I suddenly decided to write and began to produce masterpieces. There is no special trick about writing or painting either. I wrote constantly for 15 years before I produced anything with any solidity to it. The thing, of course, is to make yourself alive. Most people remain all of their lives in a stupor. The point of being an artist is that you may live. You won't arrive, it is an endless search. I wrote as lo you're a man, well you must know my heart is set on you. It isn't your success I want. There's a possibility of your having a decent attitude towards people and work. That alone may make a man of you. And that there to me is just a fucking brilliant wee bit of writing. I always listen to that there when I'm thinking about art and what you have to fucking do and what is valuable apart from money. You know, it's about being a good artist, not necessarily about selling lots of paintings. Now don't get me wrong, selling work is good and it's always a treat when somebody hands me money for my work. But ultimately you're playing in bigger games and I want to be remembered. That to me has value. You know? But was that a good wee fucking letter he wrote to his son, like? I like that. But folks, I think I'll leave it at that there. Hey, 28 minutes. Bit of a short one today, folks. And it was a bit of a contemplative one because I'm not all fucking buzzed today. But I hope you enjoyed it all the same. And remember, don't let the bastards grind you down. Up life.